We're just ready for the opening kickoff at Bloomington Stadium tonight, and good welcome everyone. Crosstown rivals Jefferson and Kennedy in what promises to be a very tough football game on both sides. Pat Beatty makes the steps. The kick is in the air and the game is underway.
And Dave Stevens makes it to the 25-yard line. The Kennedy Eagles will start first and 10.
That's my color man, Bob Wallum. We're speaking to you from high above the playing field at Bloomington Stadium. And Bob, we've got a wonderful night for football.
Yeah, we certainly do.
It's cooled off a little bit tonight. Just an outstanding night for a game between second-ranked Jefferson and the Kennedy Eagles. First and 10, ball is at the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, and the Eagles with it. First possession right up the middle and a first down.
Cliff Porter runs it up the middle.
Porter carrying the ball for Kennedy.
Rips it right up
to
the middle.
39-yard line.
Close to the 40-yard line. They're going to spot it just short of the 40-yard line. And that's the first down of this football game.
Sean Day for Jefferson in on the tackle.
We'll set the starting lineup for you as this series progresses. Hoffman, the quarterback. Side handoff and stopped for a very short gain.
Steve Beersdorf, the ball carrier.
Steve Beersdorf, the ball carrier.
From the Kennedy. From the Kennedy 41-yard line.
Let's see if we can't set that backfield lineup for you now.
Trent Dorr is in on the last tackle.
We see Beersdorf and Porter. Mike Oden is not in the football game for Kennedy. This is Hoffman on the option, keeps the ball, lunges forward for a couple yards. It's going to bring up a third down. He stopped just short of the 45-yard line. Third down and about 7 yards to go.
Carrying to the 44-yard line.
I had not heard anything previously, Bob Wallum, that there was an injury to Mike Oden. He was healthy after last week's game, I believe, against Burnsville. So Mike McKay obviously has another reason for this particular backfield set with Porter and Beersdorf, who now gets the call on this third down play. And a lot of effort by Beersdorf, and it's going to be very close to the first down. Right at the midfield stripe, and it appears that he does have the first down. He does have it, as indicated by referee John Hislop.
Tackle made by
so the Kennedy Eagles are staying on the ground and basically testing the interior of the Jaguar defense. Offensively in the line,
Kennedy first and 10
brings it center. Christensen and Hager to the guards, Dwyer and Holm at tackle. Paul Grimm, Glenn Olson, the ends.
42.
And inside handoff, pickup maybe 2 or 3 yards.
70. Porter carrying for 2 yards. Second
Porter
and
again
8.
with the carry, and it's going to bring up a second down and about 8 yards to go.
Dana Victorson in on the tackle for Jefferson. Victorson being one of the top defensive players named last week by Coach Bruno Waldner of Jefferson.
Well, Jefferson's got a lot of top players, but Mike McKay said before the game his team is ready. Second down, 8 yards to go. Inside handoff again, spinning off a couple tacklers, and finally brought down is Cliff Porter, the 5'9", 163-pound senior fullback. It's going to bring up another third down situation.
Trent Dorr in the tackle.
I'm sorry, Bob.
No problem.
There's never a problem up here in this booth, Bob.
No.
It's a lot safer up here than it is on the field tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Third down, 7 yards to go. Eagles with the ball, they're in possession. There's Beersdorf, left side. He's got about 5 yards, but it's going to bring up a fourth down and about 3. And let's see what Coach Mike McKay decides to do. And it looks like he's bringing in his punting team, Jeff Olson. Signaling now that he's counting, I think, only 10 men, and they're finally running out onto the field to fill out. The kicking team was number 55, John Wilson.
Who's the kicker?
Olson is kicking. It's like we have Dan Grant and Scott Schletty in tandem back at about their own 15-yard line to receive this punt. Left-handed kick, spiral. It's going to go close to the end zone, but no. Grant signals for a fair catch at the 11-yard line.
Jeff Olson's punt.
A fine kick into a strong wind that is moving right to left on your TV screens. And Jefferson will have the ball first down and 10. And we will watch this heralded offense go into action.
Well, it seems tonight on the scoreboard that we don't have use of our down and to-go yard mark signals, so we'll just have to give it to you as we understand it up here up in the press box.
Jay Anderson under center. Go to the right side. It looks like Shawty across the far end. He's got a first down up to about the 25-yard line. I believe that was Carnell Hall. Carnell Hall,
the ball carrier.
man who combines speed and good leg strength with a first down on the first carry of the game for the Jaguar offense. We saw good offensive movement by the Kennedy Eagles, Bob, on that first drive, picking up 2 first downs quickly. They gave issue and warning that they are going to be able to move the football here in this football game tonight.
Yes, but Jefferson getting their yardage too, and right now they seem to be moving the ball pretty well so far.
Like it was Chuck Easley on the carry, picked up about 4 yards to bring up second down.
Paul Grimm on that last tackle, and Eric Christensen now on this previous tackle right here.
I talked to Mike McKay before the football game and asked him if there was anything special he could do against Jefferson in order to stop that offense. He says they just have too many good players to be able to concentrate on anyone in particular, whether it be Hall or Anderson. He says you just got to cinch up those chin straps and come at him with 11 players and play him tight. And there's Carnell Hall taking one tackler up to about the 35-yard line. It's going to bring up a third down and short.
Torrey Reynolds for Kennedy, 6 foot, 189. Defensive ball player for Kennedy, left defensive end, making that tackle for Kennedy.
In the backfield along with Jay Anderson, he has Carnell Hall, as we said. Scott Schletty at the other wingback, Easley at the fullback rather. We've got a T formation on this third down and about 1 yard to go for the Jaguars. One man appeared to have jumped on the play, but there's no flag, and it's going to be a first down. Looked like the left side of the Jefferson offensive line might have anticipated the snap from up here, but there was no flag, and it's going to be a first down. So the Jaguars put 2 first downs back to back. They control the ball at their own 39-yard line. We're underway with 5:43 left to go in this first quarter from Bloomington Stadium. No score. Carnell Hall, and he is hit almost immediately. Making a fine defensive play. Torrey Reynolds.
Carnell Hall, tackled by number 5,
Torrey Reynolds obviously reading that play right from the start, just went in there and got Carnell Hall before he had a chance to go for any more yardage.
See if we can set that starting defense for you. There you saw Carnell Hall stopped by Torrey Reynolds, number 5, who's starting defensively at that left defensive end position. Up the middle goes Easley, and a gain of a few yards, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a passing situation, and we might see Jay Anderson try to go to work against that Kennedy secondary. The Eagles are a better football team than their 1-2 record indicates. Last week they had an opportunity to beat a very good Burnsville team, but dropped a couple of scoring passes, and that cost them dearly. They did beat number 3 ranked Osseo a couple weeks ago, rather when Osseo was ranked number 3. And an inside handoff and stopped and well diagnosed.
John Ferendorf just collared him right up, got him right back at the line of scrimmage, and that'll be a 4th down play now for Jefferson, and looks like we have the first down and yards to go markers working. That'll be a big help.
And I think we'll see the Jaguars shift into their punting formation. So both teams Picked up a couple quick first downs on the ground, but were unable to progress farther than that. And now Kennedy will have an opportunity to get its hands on the football as Dan Grant puts a high, towering punt. Fielded and dropped it about the 20-yard line. Let's see who recovers it. Everybody around the football, and it appears that Jefferson has the football. The first big opportunity of the game, and that was recovered by number 23, Timmy Langen.
Fumble recovered by Jefferson.
That punt was a towering punt. The wind certainly helped. But what an opportunity now for Jefferson as they get the ball back just outside their 31-yard line. And just like last week, Kennedy appears to be hit by some errors in this football game. Ball at the 31-yard line, first down, easily across the 30 inside, down to about the 25-yard line, make it the 26-yard line, goes the hard charging 6 foot, 190-pound senior for Jefferson.
Oden making the tackle. Second and 6.
Well, that explains where Mike Oden has been put to. Oden now being put back on the defense. They could use his size. Looks like he's been playing on the line now.
Well, Oden is number 22, and he is playing what appears to be a linebacker, roverback type position. This time he's lined up on the left side. This is Easley again, picks a hole, cuts inside, down close to the 15-yard line, goes Chuck Easley. He's going to be close to a first down.
Paul Moe in on the tackle, got him at about the 21, 22-yard line.
So often in a game like this, which will be very
Ball is on the 22-yard line.
tough fought in the line, and probably throughout this football game, those turnovers can make an awful big difference. I'm sure it was the last thing that Mike McKay wanted to happen, that he needed, was turnovers deep in his own territory. But Jaguars now with the ball following that punt, which was fumbled, and we have Easley with a first down. He's inside the 20-yard line, down to the 18-yard line. Nothing fancy for the Jaguar offense. Following the blocking of Trent Graham and Todd Vingers on the right side. Chuck Easley, the fullback, with a first down. John Burns is the tight end. He's number 88. Mike Schmidt, Derek Johnson in the split end. Dan Grant fill out the left side of the Jaguar offensive line. Slot in motion right side. This time it is Carnell Hall. Hall is tackled for what may be a very short gain, and he will probably be lucky if they spot it at the line of scrimmage. Carnell Hall.
Tackle on the play by number 22, Mike Oden.
Mike Oden, of course, best known for his exploits as a running back, but certainly with the size to play linebacker, and Mike McKay has made that change. He now has Oden playing linebacker, and he's brought Beersdorf into the starting fullback position, but this is Jay Anderson of the Jaguars looking to throw. Pass is complete to Carnell Hall. Dragged out of bounds inside the 5.
Anderson's pass complete to Carnell Hall.
Carnell Hall coming out of the backfield and running a delay crossing pattern over the middle. And Jay Anderson found him wide open and had time to throw. The pass is complete. They're going to spot the ball right at about the 5-yard line, where it's going to be first and goal and the best scoring opportunity of the night for either team.
Timmy Klein in that tackle.
Goal line defense now for Kennedy as they try to stop this Jaguar charge. First down. Easley right side. He is inside the 5-yard line. I'd like to have statistics on how often the Jaguars score when they have the ball inside an opponent's 20-yard line, but they have to have a very high percentage. They can come at you from so many different ways. They've got 3 fine running backs with Easley, Carnell Hall, and Scott Schletty. Hall, of course, being one of the premier running backs in the state of Minnesota. And when you've got Jay Anderson, you've got that passing option as well. This is second down and goal at the 2. And stopped just short as they unpile. It's going to bring up a third down. Easily the ball carrier. And that's the end of what has been a very quick-moving first quarter. I can't believe it how quickly that first quarter has moved. And they're going to bring the ball back to the south end of the football field, much to the chagrin of those sitting near the north end. But the Jaguars are going to have the ball, third down and about a yard to go for a touchdown.
Well, for some statistics now for you out there, we have Jefferson 9th in the Class AA with an offensive yards gain. They've gained a total of 587 yards, average of 293.5 yards a game. Let's see here. Top 10 passing, we have Jay Anderson of Jefferson with 19 completions out of 37 attempts for a .514 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns.
All right, back to action now. Jaguars with the ball, third down and 1. They're knocking at the touchdown door right at the Kennedy 1 yard line, and the Jags jump, and they're going to move that back 5. So it's going to bring up a third down and 6.
It's obviously going to help Kennedy. I'm sure they could use a little bit more breathing room away from their goal line.
Beautiful night for football. I'd say the temperature probably, 60, 65 degrees, Bob. We've got what appears to be a pretty brisk 15-mile-an-hour wind, 15 to 20.
Dead ball foul.
The crosswind, that really affects two things. One, the passing game and the kicking game. I think the team that is moving from right to left, as you look at your football screen right now, has the advantage, but there's no advantage for the Kennedy Eagles because they are goal line defense. Third down, trying to keep the Jaguars from scoring. Third down at the 6-yard line. Inside handoff and a pickup of maybe 3 yards. Looked like it was Carnell Hall.
Eric Christensen, another tackle, right down at the bottom of the pile, of course. Christensen, co-captain, left defensive tackle for Kennedy.
Interesting matchup now as we look at a fourth down situation with Bingers and Trent Graham going against Eric Christensen over on that right defensive side, and we have a timeout. First timeout of the football game. Timeout. No score. With Jefferson in scoring opportunity now, they have a big play here, fourth down at the 3. What do you call, Bob?
What do I call? Well, saying with the foot that Pat Beattie has, I'd go with the field goal, get the sure 3 points. Kennedy's defense being rather tough, unless they decided to go with Carnell Hall, it would just be an interesting matchup to see just how they would move that play.
Well, it does not look, as we look across the field, like Bruno Waldner and his coaching staff is going to opt for a field goal. They are talking with quarterback Jay Anderson, trying to create some strategy and determine what will work at this particular position on the field.
And right now across the field we see Jefferson's fans over there trying to participate in a version of a wave, just going from left to right.
The wave, the infamous wave. Bob, you picked that up so quickly. Nobody else in the press box even knew what that was.
I guess I'm used to seeing it at the Metrodome too much. I don't know.
Well, a favorite play right here for the Jaguars is the option with Jay Anderson on the rollout. Let's see what he does. They like to run the rollout in this situation.
Carnell Hall to the right.
Fourth down. Touchdown! Dan Grant.
Jay Anderson's pass complete to Dan Grant for the touchdown.
Well, Dan Grant really put on an act on that one. He was lined up and made it look like he was going to come down and block, held his block very well, and then at the last moment released, and he was wide open in the end zone. Obviously, the Jags had worked on that play, and that was a part of their playbook and their strategy when they got it in close. Beattie now for the conversion. Kick is up. Kick is good.
Beattie's kick is good.
Jaguars take the lead with 11:26 left to go in the first half, 7-0. So the big mistake is costly for the Kennedy Eagles as they cough up the football on the punt. The Jaguars march it in. That pass, little 2-yard pass rather, from Jay Anderson to Dan Grant. What a combination that is. Two record breakers at Jefferson. Dan Grant, who holds the single season record with 28, that being last year, and Jay Anderson holding the school record for completions in a single season. And I'm sure Anderson will go on, and Grant will go on to break very likely most school passing and receiving records before this season is out.
Number 31, Steve Beersdorf.
All right, Dave Stevens back deep to catch this punt from Beatty, who kicks it high and short. The ball is at about the 27-yard line. Still on his feet, and finally brought
Dave
down.
Stevens makes it up to the 31-yard line.
Number 24, Dave Stevens.
About the 30.5-yard line, I'd say.
John Burns making the tackle.
John Burns making the tackle for Jefferson, and Kennedy will start 1st and 10 at their own 30.5-yard line.
This is only the second possession of the football game for the Kennedy offense. They come out in the I formation, pitch back to Beersdorf, blocking left side. He avoids one tackle. Is coming up very fast was Mark Peller, who slowed him up
to the 35-yard line.
before they finally put the stop on him. Darrell Zachary with the tackle.
About 5 yards gained on that play for Beersdorf. He'll be 2nd down, about 5.
Zachary, Bata, Victorson, Vingers, and Burns, the defensive front. Getchman and Sean Day at the linebackers. We see Parkinson and Langen in the secondary along with Jeff Munson and Mark Peller.
Beersdorf again.
Short gain. It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Call it 3rd down, about 3 maybe.
Beersdorf carrying.
Kennedy has an outstanding pass attack in its own right.
Gain of 3 on the play.
Greg Hoffman,
Third
a
and
very
3.
strong arm. And probably Hoffman's
From the 48-yard
real problem
line.
for Greg is that he lives somewhat in the shadow of Jay Anderson. But you wait and watch this Greg Hoffman put the ball in the air. He takes 2nd place to no one with that arm. There goes Cliff Porter. Porter pounding right up the middle. Looks like Peller came up fast from the safety position. Peller quite a hit man in the secondary.
Porter carrying across the 40-yard line.
Close to a 1st down. About
Timeout for
they'd
measurement.
need about maybe,
Mark Peller was in on the
But-
tackle.
we'd call it 4th and inches, I suppose.
Well, we want to welcome all of you who are just joining our telecast here on BEC-TV tonight from Bloomington Stadium. The score is 7-0. The Jaguars recovered a fumble deep in Kennedy territory in the 1st quarter, marched it in.
Oh,
First
With a
down.
2-yard pass from Jay Anderson to Dan Grant. Pat Beatty made the conversion. And that's what we have right now is a 7-0 score. Jaguars on top of the Kennedy Eagles. This is Kennedy's 2nd possession of the
First
football
and 10
game.
from
The game has moved very quickly. There's
21-yard
only
line.
been 2 passes in the game, both from Jefferson, both complete. Kennedy has yet to put it in the air. They have a 1st down at their own 41-yard line. Stevens, right side, about 5.
Dave Stevens carrying.
tackle
across
on
the
that play
45.
by number
Dorr making the tackle.
64, Trent Dorr for Jefferson. Dorr playing on a line position, taking somebody's place.
2nd and 5 from the
Is he playing
45-yard
at that right
line.
defensive tackle?
Apparently so.
I can't
Yeah.
tell if that's Fingers out there or like that. We'll have to take a look at that. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Inside handoff, Cliff Porter. No, he's going nowhere. Big number 64. Dorr again in there on the stop. Defensively for the Jaguars, and that will bring up a 3rd down.
Jefferson just shut the door on Kennedy's.
Porter carrying.
Porter right
See
there.
Danny Dwyer coming out as Mike McKay shuffles his guards. Going in, number 67 for Kennedy.
Bob Kaola, senior, 5'11", 191 pounds.
All right, let's see if they go to the air, Bob Wallem. 3rd down, about 4 yards to go. They've got Grimm split to the left. Now inside handoff hit almost immediately is Cliff Porter, and he's going absolutely nowhere. Wrapped up in the arms of several tacklers. I see John Burns being one of them, and that's going to bring up a fourth down just short of midfield.
Apparently it looked like Porter's forward progress got him up to about the 40, but they move it back towards the 39, so it'll be fourth down and about maybe one.
From the Kennedy 49-yard line.
And I think it looks like they're going to go for it with 7:38 left to go in the second quarter, and now Kennedy with a fourth and short is going to go for it right at midfield. Quick snap, quarterback sneak, first down.
Good call.
Excellent call. He snapped the ball before the Jefferson defense appeared to be ready, and Greg Hoffman carried it across midfield down into Jaguar territory, and that's going to be a first down for Kennedy. I believe that's what first down, about the fourth first down for the Eagles. Mike McKay said before the game, he said, hey, if we don't have to put the ball in the air, we'll just shove it right down there. And so far it's been successful, but he's back to pass. Pass over the middle, complete,
wide
right
open.
on the money. And that pass was complete to Paul Grimm. And there you saw the arm and accuracy of Greg Hoffman. Hoffman to Grimm, first down at the 29-yard line of Jefferson. And how wide open was Paul Grimm? Well thrown ball, right on the money. Right in front of the Jaguar deep secondary. First down and 10, Kennedy in Jaguar territory. Inside handoff is Stevens. He gets bumped rather hard by Sean Day. Finally pulled down by Zachary, but not before he picks up about 7 yards.
Dave Stevens just went right over to the left side for about 6 yards, bounced off one Jefferson player, and landed right in the clutches of Daryl Zachary.
Let's take a look at that on instant replay if we can. Watch Stevens coming over from the right side. There you see Greg Hoffman. Stevens makes a fine cut, and watch the hit by Day. Hits him, and finally Zachary wraps him up. Back to live action, second down and 3 yards to go. Pitch out.
Steve Beersdorf.
Beersdorf with a first down inside the 15-yard line. Rather the 20-yard line. It's going to be a first down. Zachary with a stop.
Got to about the 13-yard line.
First down.
Well, if there was any question whether Kennedy was going to be able to play on the same field as Jefferson, that question has been answered because Kennedy is certainly playing inspired football tonight. First down and 10, ball at the 12-yard line. This is Hoffman back to pass. Overthrown.
Hoffman's pass intended for Grimm, incomplete.
Was overthrown, intended for his favorite receiver, Paul Grimm, but he was covered very, very close. It appeared to be Sean Day.
Second and 10.
Grimm appeared to be wide open, but when Hoffman finally turned his head over towards the play, he had Sean Day coming into the area and just overthrew it a little.
Sleddy. That may have been Sleddy over there, but it was maybe a good thing that that pass was overthrown. We have second down, 10 yards to go. Inside handoff, Beersdorf cracks off the right side, and Beersdorf carries it close to the 10-yard line. They have to get down to the 3-yard line for a first down.
Beersdorf carrying, tackle made by Victorson.
5 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in the first half.
Third and 8 from
Jefferson
the
on
10-yard
top,
line.
7-0, but Kennedy threatening deep in Jefferson territory. The ball right outside the 10-yard line. Third down and 8 yards to go for the Eagles. Wide to the left is Grimm. Inside handoff and in the arms of Bretschman, the linebacker, goes Beersdorf, and he's down to about the about the 7, making a pickup of 3 yards. Fourth down and 4 yards to go for a first down. Fourth down and 7 yards to go for a touchdown.
Make sure you get in the information before the half here on this. No re-entry. Might even do it a couple times.
Say, Sonny. Spectators are reminded that Bloomington has a no-entry policy at the gate. If you leave the stadium during the halftime period or before the end of the game, you will have to purchase another ticket to re-enter the stadium. Thank you for your cooperation. We would like to remind the spectators that there are
4 minutes, 58 seconds left to go before the end of the half. Score Kennedy 7, or not Kennedy, but Jefferson 7, Kennedy 0. The scoring play, Dan Grant, 3-yard touchdown pass from Jay Anderson.
This is BEC-TV. All right, we're back to live action. 4th down, 4 yards to go for the first, 7 for the touchdown. Kennedy with the ball, wide to the left is Grimm. This is Hoffman. Hoffman under pressure, the ball is knocked down. Knocked down, it appeared to be that either Sean Day or Gary Getchman got in there to knock it down. With the size of Day, one might think it was Sean Day, but
Jefferson will take over.
Hoffman was under a lot of heat on the rush as Jefferson made penetration on that play and knocked that 4th down pass astray, and it's going to be Jefferson's ball. They take over, 1st down at their own 7-yard line. 4:54 left to go in this first half. It has moved very, very quickly. Jefferson now deep in their own territory. Anderson under center. This is Carnell Hall to the outside, and he is pulled down. Another fine defensive play by Torrey Reynolds.
Reynolds just latched onto him and did not let go. Carnell Hall, if he got any yardage on that play, was because Torrey Reynolds threw him that way, or that far.
Lovely Lynn here is handling our sound system for us. Plugs us in for another ride on the
2nd and
magic
11 from the Jefferson
carpet.
7.
Loss of 1 on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 11 with 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go.
All right, another fine defensive play by Kennedy. Kennedy playing tough. They want that ball back if they can possibly get it with some time left on the clock. Letty on the carry, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and about 10 yards. Well, make it 9 yards. They're going to give him a yard on that play. 3rd down and 9 from their own 8-yard line.
John Ferendorf closing down the left side of Jefferson. Made a fine play.
Well, I like the way this Kennedy defense has played tonight. They have been tough. Only that costly turnover has been anything. There's a quick punt, a quick kick. Fine call for it, and a good kick, taking it out of bounds, or just about out of bounds, at the 46-yard line of Kennedy, and that's where they are going to take over.
Jefferson's kick.
Well, apparently Jefferson didn't think they were going to get anywhere back there, so they just decided to get rid of it before any more fine defensive Kennedy play would possibly get them back towards the goal line and possible safety.
That was a 45-yard quick kick. And I did not see who it was. Now, was it Schletty that might have brought the...
Could have been Dan Grant playing a backfield position.
Could have snuck him in there. Boy, I haven't seen the Jaguars have to quick kick this so far this year. But that is indicative, as we said, timeout for Jefferson. Indicative of how tough Kennedy is playing this game tonight. You can always expect Mike McKay's football teams to be well prepared for any football game that they go into. And certainly from a motivation standpoint, no one is better than Mike McKay. This Eagle team is fired up tonight. They have an opportunity to knock off the 2nd-ranked team in the state. They have an opportunity to beat their traditional crosstown rivals. And a big chance to get back in the race in the Lake Conference South.
No entry policy.
He's got a fine squad this year. Hoffman and a fine quarterback.
Thank you.
Good receivers. He's got one of the biggest offensive lines in Minnesota football. You look at Haggard at 245, Holm at 250, Suchek at 223, Christensen 207, Ted Grangs 216 at center. They're big. They have a 1st down at their own 47-yard line. Inside handoff. Looks like it was Cliff Porter. Porter off the right side as they try and tighten up that Jaguar interior, perhaps opening it up for the passing game. It's going to bring 2nd down, the ball spotted right at midfield.
Hoffman stopped by
Porter,
John
2
Burns.
yards on the gain, looked a little bit more, but actually 3, 2nd and 7. Kennedy's got about 2.5 minutes left to go to establish a drive for a touchdown before the half ends.
Power I formation. Stevens along the right side, turns on the afterburners. He's got some running room, and he's across down into Jefferson territory at the 42-yard line, and that's going to be a first down.
Dave Stevens, ball carrier.
Stevens exceptionally
Munson
quick.
making the tackle.
Turned it up
Kennedy
inside,
first down.
following his blocking. Looked like Dwyer had pulled on that play.
Bob Kayola, Dwyer just back into the game, so
Probably Kayola then making the pull on that one from his guard position. Grimm comes down to the bottom of your screen. First down and 10. Tie-dye formation. Hoffman dropping back. He's going deep, and the pass is out of bounds.
Hoffman's
That
pass
pass
intended for Jeff Olson is incomplete.
Was intended for Jeff Olson. But it was incomplete. Back defensively on that play was
Clock.
John Parkinson.
clock stopped with 2 minutes, 1 second left to go.
And the Eagles now looking at second down. Here we go, Stevens again. Left side, runs over his own blocker. That was Eric Christensen trying to get out there in front.
Dave Stevens,
But Stevens
the
ran
ball
right up his
carrier,
back.
tackled by Zachary.
And
Timeout,
Stevens
Kennedy.
is somewhat shaken up on that play. Well, running back has to make a decision. If he sees the opportunity and thinks he can get outside, and he's certainly not going to wait for a pulling guard to throw the block. However, in most cases, the back will try to follow his guards and tackles as they pull and look for the opportunity to cut it up inside and perhaps against the grain and try and break one. But Dave Stevens does an outstanding job on those sweeps for Kennedy. As we see Mike McKay, or you're looking now at the Jefferson defensive alignment. Mike McKay, you can't see him in his picture. He takes an active role in the football team when it's out on the field. He's in the defense. He's in the defensive and offensive huddles. Bruno Waldner, years of success. His style is letting his captains take control out on the field. That pass complete to Grimm, steps inside, and he's going to be finally knocked out of bounds on that third down play.
Hoffman's pass complete to Paul Grimm.
And that's going to be short of a first down. We take a look at it again. There you see Hoffman throwing it well out to Grimm. That's a very tough pass and a very key pass for a quarterback to throw. The pickup was maybe only about 5 yards, but he threw it 25 yards in the air. You have to have a strong arm to do that. That ball has to get out there with some zip to prevent the cornerback from coming up and picking it off, and Hoffman's got that on this fourth down now and 4 yards to go. Hoffman steps away from one defender. The pass is overthrown. Hoffman was under pressure.
Hoffman's pass intended for Grimm.
Well, that's no mean feat overthrowing that ball there, because Paul Grimm, he's 6'4", so plus with the arms being stretched up, that gives you a good 10 feet right there almost, so just a little off the mark there.
Jaguars take over. They'll try and see what they can do with less than 2 minutes to go in the football game, and stacked up immediately. Scott Schletty was thrown for a loss of about 5 yards. And Mike Oden made a big stop as Kennedy continues to play tough defense against that Jefferson double wing. Going now without a huddle. Jaguars second down, 14 yards to go. This is Anderson. Intended for Grant, overthrown. Pass is incomplete.
Anderson's pass
Up near
intended for
midfield,
Dan
and that's
Grant
going to bring up
is
third
complete.
down and about 14 yards to
Second
go.
and 14. Third and 14.
Talking with Bruno Waldner, he said this team closely mirrors the Jaguar team of last year. He knew he'd be able to put points on the board. The question was going to be, in his opinion, how good his defense would develop. But tonight the offense has been, we will see a deep pass there. The pass is complete. No, it's
Interception?
intercepted.
Oh!
That made a one-handed completion. But no, Kennedy has the football.
Intercepted by John Haig.
John Haig in there on that interception. Looks like he just stole the ball right out of Hall's hands.
Carnell Hall, and we'll see it in this play, was surrounded by Jaguars. Let's watch it, see if we can get in. There's Carnell Hall at the bottom of your screen. It looked like he had made the reception, and it might have been in his hands. But Haig stripped the ball, and they've got the first down thrown 27-yard line. Hoffman on the option, and he's still on his feet, close to the 35-yard line.
Hoffman
Goes Greg
giving the
Hoffman.
ball to the
So there's a
35-yard
turnover
line.
for Jefferson.
Zachary making the tackle.
But Kennedy does not have much time. They have less than 1 minute. The clock is counting down at 43 seconds left to go, and they have 66 yards to move the football for a score. Wide to the right goes Grimm. Olsen tied on the left side. Hoffman, the quarterback, inside handoff, bouncing off one tackler, still on his feet is Dave Stevens. Stevens cut to the outside, gets out of bounds. He's across midfield down into Jefferson territory. Dave Stevens.
Smart play by Stevens, stopping that clock with 21
Number
seconds left to
24,
go.
Dave Stevens carrying. Tackled by Sean Day. That is a Kennedy first down.
Got a little bit more than over, or a little bit under half the field to go, about at the 49-yard line.
How many first downs does Kennedy and Jefferson have? They've got to be close to being pretty equal.
Well, so far we've got 7 first downs for Kennedy and 4 for Jefferson, but
How about that? That's a surprise. First down and 10. Inside midfield, Hoffman. Hoffman going deep and well covered is Grimm. He's throwing it up for grabs, and Hoffman.
Oh!
That's Grimm, rather. Grimm with a catch, still on his feet.
Touchdown!
Touchdown, Kennedy.
oh!
Touchdown, Kennedy.
Field happier than Coach Mike McKay and Paul Grimm is Greg Hoffman.
Well, what did we say about the passing attack of Kennedy? They have lived in the shadows of the Jefferson offense, but Kennedy is on tonight. Hoffman to Grimm. I'm not sure. I could not see who that defensive back was for Kennedy, and we're certainly not going to speculate. For Jefferson, rather. Uh-oh, instant replay. This is the death here of any defensive back. Well, it was still hard to see, and I'm not going to try and say who that was. But I know that that defensive back is very, very unhappy person at this time. He was well covered. Grimm was well covered, but Grimm had a size advantage.
And you couldn't have asked for any more of a better pass than what Hoffman gave him. Just Grimm shook the hips a couple times and just ran for all he was worth and got in there for the score. Now Schultz in for the kick.
Take it away, Bob Wallum. They're going for 2. They've got it.
They got it. Oh, we got Kevin Sunham there on a holder's keeper. Sunham just running by, deciding what to do. Finally decided to just bring it in by himself.
With just 11 seconds left to go in the first half, Kennedy has struck gold.
Sundam going for the 2-point.
The bomb from Hoffman to Paul Grimm. The 2-point conversion by Sundam. And now,
We just had a correction here for the interception back there. The interception was not by John Haig, as informed to us by Coach Lang. It was Tim Klein on the interception.
good call, Bob Wallum. And we have a football game here. Second-ranked Jefferson now trailing 8-7. 11 seconds left to go in the first half.
Scott Schultz will kick for Kennedy. Carnell Hall, deep for Jefferson.
Well, I can't think of any years where there hasn't been a real exciting Kennedy-Jefferson game, and this one obviously keeping up with that tradition.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing, this second half is going to be something. Got some people at home that aren't watching this football game. You better get them down there in the living room in the second half because they're going to see some fine high school football. 8-7, Kennedy on top, 11 seconds to go in the first half. The kick is a low squib, trying to prevent any deep run back. It's picked up by the short man, Schletty. And Schletty gets up to about his own 34-yard line.
Knocked down on that play by number 31, Steve Biersdorf, and with an assist from number 32, Sean Weller.
And let's see if Jefferson will try and get one play off. They will not let the clock run off. They will have one play. I'll tell you that Paul Grimm, just an outstanding receiver.
Well, you talk about Dan Grant for Jefferson. You figure he's probably at the top of the Lake South standings in receiving, but Paul Grimm's not that far behind, actually. I was reading the paper this morning. I noticed Paul Grimm, not too far behind him. So we got a couple quality receivers in this game.
I'll tell you, Grimm reminds me a lot of a outstanding professional receiver now in the twilight of probably of his career, and that's Dave Logan, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, who's a tall guy, 6'4", close to 200 plus pounds, but with good speed and fine hands, and boy, that height makes a tremendous advantage against those shorter cornerbacks.
And
so let's see what Jefferson pulls off here. They've got it first down. They have 11 seconds left to go in the first half. They trail 8-7. They're going to try and go for it. Pass is complete. Here comes the pitch out to Carnell Hall. And Hall is going to be knocked out of bounds just about as the first half comes to an end. The first half is over. The first half is over. Jay Anderson is shaken up and is holding the right side as he goes off the field. He is being helped off the field, Jay Anderson. And now going off under his own power. And Bruno Waldner is now calling attention to referee John Hislop. Attention to the fact that Jay Anderson was knocked down on that play, and he, I'm sure, is claiming that he was cheap-shotted. He is claiming, I'm sure, that Jay Anderson took a late hit on that one, but he's getting no sympathy from the umpire. And he's still out on the field, but the story stands with the scoreboard. Kennedy leads 8-7 at halftime. We have a potential upset in the making, Bob Wallum. What a football game it's been in this first half.
Well, that could obviously be a feather in Kennedy's cap now. If they've knocked off third-ranked Osseo, now they're shooting their sights higher and going for number 2 Jefferson. Like you said, this is going to be one heck of a second half.
Well, they played one of the most inspired first halves of football, and we've come to expect that from Bloomington Kennedy as we look down at the Kennedy band now at halftime. And I'm certain that McKay's club and Bruno Waldner's club are going to come back fired up tonight in that second half. Jefferson's got a lot on the line, so does Kennedy.
I'm sure the feeling in the Kennedy locker room right now is of obvious jubilation, but I'm sure McKay is going to tell him that you still got one more half to go and you haven't beat him yet. But the momentum right now is obviously on Kennedy's side.
The Kennedy High School Marching Eagle Band. Eagle Band are under the direction of Mr. Gerald Fronte and drum major Chris Wright. The flag corps advisor is Debbie Francis. Tonight's performance opens with the powerful overture from Carl Orff, Carmina Burana.
much more to the excitement and sparkle of a parade than a great band. This year, the Minnesota State Fair recognized the Kennedy Band as a great band with second-place finish in their parade. The flute and percussion section would like to assure you it's a breeze to ease on down the road. And the IRS have in common? No, it's not that two are dead, and many of us wish the third was also. Instead, they all have a disposition for the macabre, the faint of heart and the wary of spirit. Bandsmen testify learning a new drill is often inasmuch mystifying. But regardless, steps, if you will, into another dimension, an ambiguous reality where time marches on and on. We feature senior trumpet Dave Campbell as we step into the Twilight Zone. Thank you, Kennedy Band, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your support of the Marching Eagles. Your announcer has been David Christensen. One more time with the Kennedy Fight Song. Continuing our halftime entertainment, we have Bloomington's most award-winning dance line. Please welcome the fabulous Kennedy Colleen. baseball score at the end of one inning. Minnesota Twins 6, Cleveland 0.
Bloomington Jefferson Senior High School and Bloomington Kennedy Senior High School are proud to announce National Merit Scholarship Semi-Finalists. 10 outstanding Bloomington seniors take the spotlight tonight as National Merit Scholarship Semi-Finalists, ranking academically in the top 0.5% of the nation's high school seniors. The outstanding scholars are alphabetically Todd Anderson, Jefferson; Ronell Hanson, Jefferson; John Haig, Kennedy; Laura Kemmer, Kennedy; Eric Lee, Jefferson; Matt McCoy, Jefferson; John Murphy, Kennedy; Peter Park, Kennedy; John Smith, Jefferson; and Chester Wool, Kennedy. How about a big Bloomington cheer for our 10th National Merit Scholars?
Welcome back, everybody, to Bloomington Stadium. The score is Kennedy 8, Jefferson 7. That's right, 8-7, Kennedy with the lead. As we are about ready to begin the second half of play. A very inspired Kennedy football team scoring just before the end of the first half on a 49-yard touchdown play from Hoffman to his outstanding receiver, Paul Grimm. And now Jefferson will have the ball for the first time in the second half, as this is Carnell Hall with the ball. Carnell Hall across the 30 to the 34, and that's where Jefferson will put the ball into play. Bob Wallum, some first half statistics.
First half statistics, here we go. All right, total offense for Jefferson, we have 73 total yards. The big story there, Carnell Hall only got 16 yards rushing. For Kennedy, 166 total yards offense, with Dave Stevens being the big ball carrier, 5 carries, 43 yards.
All right, we'll bring you more of those statistics. But Jefferson with the ball, first down and 10. They will open up play in the second half at the 34-yard line, trailing 8-7. Jay Anderson appears to have shaken off any effects of what appeared to be an injury near the end of the first quarter, or rather the first half, as he was hit during that pass play to Carnell Hall. And there you saw Carnell Hall, and that's been a big story tonight. Carnell Hall picking up a yard. He only had, as you heard Bob Wallum say, 16 yards in the first half. And it has been a long time since we've seen Carnell Hall held to that little yardage rather, in 2 quarters of play. Schletty's in motion, inside, handoff. No, it's Jay Anderson with the ball. He's going to pull it down and run for it.
Oh!
And he is thrown hard to the turf by Mike Oden, and there's going to be a flag on the play.
Anderson, the ball carrier, there's a flag on
Looks
the
like a
play.
face mask penalty on Mike Oden. Oden grabbing a little bit too high on Jay Anderson.
Well, we have a distinguished visitor. I guess you could call him distinguished now that he's going to Brown Institute. Scott Hansen walking into the booth. Scott, member of our BEC television team. Going to give Scott those headsets for just a moment. Scott, good to have you here. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. How about you, Tom?
You being a Jag, I'm doing fine, but the Jaguars are having their hands full tonight with this Kennedy football team.
Just stopped by, and they're down by 1 point at the half. Doesn't look too good for the Jaguars. Maybe they'll pull out the third quarter stretch there and bring something up.
Well, why don't you hang loose with us here for this Jaguar offensive
Drive here and see what they can
series
do.
of plays here, and let's talk a little bit about this Jefferson offense. There was a 15-yard walk-off, unsportsmanlike conduct, I believe was the call, and that's a big penalty because now Jefferson is in Kennedy territory. Looks like the same play. Pass is overthrown, but there's going to be a flag on the play, and we're going to have a late hit. A late hit. Well, I'm sorry, that's not a late hit. It's going to be an interference call. It looks like it's going to go against John Haig, the Roverback. And I believe he's going to be called for interference as he tackled the intended receiver, and the official said he did it prematurely. Talking now with the Jefferson offense. Well, some mistakes tonight at first goal. Both scores
Automatic first down.
have come as a result of some of the turnovers, and
First and 10 for Jefferson.
now the penalties are starting to hurt Kennedy. I don't think you can give either one of these teams this kind of advantage and hope to come out alive with this game tonight, Scott Hansen.
Well, 2 quick penalties there, Tom. Have got to be on the upside for the Jaguars right now as they're on this offensive drive. See what they can do here.
We're going to watch this first down and play. It's right at the Kennedy 30-yard line, and this is
Ball
Carnell
in
Hall.
motion. Swings around the
he
inside. He's
goes.
going in.
Carnell Hall. And he is very close. He ran over the marker right at the goal line. But they're going to say that he was knocked out of bounds at about the 2-yard line, and that's the kind of Carnell Hall that we've come to know here at Bloomington Stadium.
That it is. Carnell last year just one of the outstanding players right underneath Jay Anderson and one of the other good players of the Jaguars, Pete Hill.
So, first down and goal. Jefferson with the ball on the 2-yard line. They've taken the ball on the opening kickoff and are now driving. They are 2 yards from a touchdown. Goal line defense for Kennedy. Anderson under center. Easily, touchdown.
Easily carrying for the touchdown.
And so Jefferson goes back on top. Scott Hansen, I have to ask you, what do you think that Bruno Waldner told Jefferson in that locker room in the first half?
Well, he probably told him that it's not a very big deficit to be under, especially going into half. 1 point's not that big of a deal, but he probably told him not to let it go by too easily. He told him to go out there and do their best and see what they can do with the ball. And we know that Jefferson, as of last year, second place in state, can work the ball very well.
Beatty's kick is good.
Beatty's kick is almost into Highway 13 in Burnsville, and that makes the score Jefferson 14, Kennedy 8. Scott, as long as we have you here, tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days.
Well, I haven't started Brown yet. Like you said, I was going to be attending Brown. I start October 29th, and me and another one of the BEC guys, Greg Frederick, will be going there together, I guess.
Greg, the actor.
Yeah, that he
Frederick.
is. And hopefully we'll be having a really great time over there. It's, from what I've heard, the school is really great, and you just have a blast.
Well, Scott, you've always been known to have a good time. You've never let school get in the way.
What's that supposed to be now, Tom?
Pardon me, Mrs. Hansen, but
Kick off for Jefferson. Deep for Kennedy, number 24, Dave Stevens.
Well, I've been talking to a
32,
couple of my
Sean
friends
Weller,
earlier this week
31,
about
Steve
this game,
Bearsdorf.
and we've been talking of how tough Kennedy is going to be for the Jaguars. We thought that they'd be one of the toughest teams that the Jaguars will be playing this year. Richfield will be another tough one this coming week. I believe it's the Jaguar homecoming game.
there's a low line drive kick that bounces off one Kennedy linesman and is finally recovered at about the Eagle 30, and that's where they'll put it into play. Well, it certainly looks like McKay's got this team ready for Jefferson. I think he's got them well scouted, and seems to be showing them some new things offensively with Odin now moving over to defense. He's got a totally different look in that backfield. And here's one of those new looks. That's Beersdorf. Beersdorf left side, picking his hole perfectly. And he's got a first down. Steve Beersdorf.
Beersdorf carrying for 10 yards, tackled by Zachary. That's the Kennedy first down.
Came up here with the team popcorn of the week. He's got some playoff popcorn here. As we see a Jefferson man down, you don't see it on your camera right now. And he's been throwing that stuff down like the Russians are right outside the press box. Bob the Mad Hatter Wallen. This guy's something else. For those of you who don't know, he was the only 7-year graduate in the history of Kennedy High School. And there's still some question as to the degree that Bob did get when he got out. He says he has something hanging on his wall in his bedroom, but no one's ever seen it. I don't know. But that qualifies him as a BEC-TV color man, though.
The injured player on the defensive side there would be Scott Schletty, number 22 of Jefferson. Doesn't look like he's too bad off. Should be back.
First down for Kennedy. They've got the ball on the ensuing kickoff following the Jefferson score. They're now at their own 42-yard line. Right up the gut goes Beersdorf. Good yardage across the 45. Up near midfield at about the 48-yard line. Steve Beersdorf. And how well we remember him on that fine hockey team that Kennedy had last year. And now he's starting at fullback with an all-around athlete. Couldn't have said it better myself, Bob Wallace.
I can remember that man myself.
I'm a mad dog with that popcorn. 8-man defensive front trying to stop Beersdorf. Oh! A fumble
on the play.
And
Jefferson has the ball.
Zachary scooping the ball from Beersdorf. And right at
Kennedy fumble recovered by Jefferson.
Jefferson takes
Jefferson
over.
will take
I was
over
just going to
first
say
and 10.
that Beersdorf
From
had
the
one man to beat
50-yard line.
against the 8-man defensive line. If he had gotten past Zachary, he would have been gone. But instead, Zachary made the big play, and now Jefferson has the ball on the turnover first down right at midfield. We see Grant now flip-flop with John Burns. In the slot on the left side is Carnell Hall. Wing on the right is Scott Schletty. Easily the lone setback. This is Easley. He bursts up the middle. Ooh. Close to a first down. Pickup of about 9 yards. And that was a fine defensive play there.
Carrying.
Ferendorf made the stop for Kennedy. Second down and about 1 yard to go.
Had a chance to watch that Jefferson Minnetonka game last week on TV. Didn't get a chance to stop by. You looked like you were all by yourself there, Tom.
It was soloing it, and it was lonely.
Bruno Waldner got a chance to throw in some of his second and third string players.
This is Easley again with more big yardage. She's down close to the 30-yard line. Right down about the Kennedy 27-yard line, another first down for Jefferson. I guess if I were the Kennedy Eagles right now, I would be really worried because once this Jaguar offense gets wound up, they have the capability to put a lot of points on the board, Scott.
First and 10 from
they do, as I watched that
34.
Minnetonka. Not saying that Minnetonka is a bad team or not, but the Jaguars did just have an outstanding game, putting points on the board almost every possession of the ball. Schletty goes in motion to give up to, it looks like, easily up the middle again. Gets about a yard, maybe two.
Easley, the ball carrier. Tackled by Christensen. Second and 8 from the 32.
Second down and about 8 yards to go. Carnell Hall right side. Carnell Hall to the outside. It's a foot race. Carnell Hall down to about the 10-yard line.
Carnell Hall.
Get the ball to Carnell Hall, and you
to the 11-yard line.
You got
first and 10 for Jefferson.
a good runner on your hands there.
Like trying to grab lightning as we take a look on the replay. Watch the speed of Carnell Hall. This is the patented double wing sweep. Carnell Hall cuts inside the block of the guard, gets to the outside. You can't let him do that. He's going to hurt you. What a great runner, Carnell Hall. First down, 10. Ball at the 11-yard line of Kennedy. Jaguars on the move again. They lead 14-8. Carnell Hall again. He's got blocking. Cuts inside, still on his feet. And Torrey Reynolds had him and finally moved him out of bounds, but not until Carnell Hall picked up some good yardage. That's a gain of about 5 yards. Second down, you make it 4 yards. Second down, about 6. Apparently Scott Walter has made some adjustments. Perhaps the blocking was found a way to get his basic running game going in the second half. Goal line defense.
Hey, it sure is nice to be inside this press box with the glass in front of you. You don't get all that wind and excess noise as we did up above the first game of the season.
Jay Anderson's going to pull it down and run it. He's pulled down from behind, short of the goal line.
Jay Anderson keeping.
Landon Haggart. Well, we have Eric Holm and Christensen. Excuse me, I stand corrected on the tackle. Those guys are so big.
Second and
Haggart,
2.
Christensen, and Holm. It's hard to tell them apart. I guess I'll have to start looking at the numbers. We have a 3rd down and 1. 3rd down and 1. Ball is right at the 3-yard line. Carnell Hall in motion. This is Anderson handing off to Easley, and he's in for the score. Torrey Reynolds had a grab of his jersey, but Easley just too powerful to bring down with one hand. And the Jaguars are now increasing their lead. They lead 20-8.
Well, Tom, it has been nice coming back and seeing you. Maybe we'll stop by next weekend on Friday night here for the Jaguars as they take on Richfield, I believe.
That's going to be a big game.
It is the Jefferson homecoming. But it has been nice. I got to get going. We'll give
I'll
the
tell you, Scott, let
headset
me
back
just
to Bob.
interrupt here just to say that you show up, and in 5 minutes, the Jags put 13 points on the board.
I'm their good luck charm. What can I say,
Well,
right?
Wallen's giving me the signal to cut your throat right now, so I guess we're going to have to see if we can equalize it here. But Scott, thank you again for joining us. Best wishes to you as you continue your broadcasting career. And why don't you show up at one of those classes on occasion too, Scott?
I'll try.
I know it's tough. We'll call
try.
over there for a wake-up call.
I'll try.
What, 10 a.m., something like that? No, good luck to you in your broadcasting career, and stop on back again. It's always good to see you.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Bob Wallen, you got some work to do. How's the popcorn?
Oh, it was great.
It looked pretty good.
This place has quality popcorn. It is fantastic.
What kind is that? It didn't look like the kind you get down at the store. It looked a little bit different. It wasn't Orville's.
It's not Orville Redenbacher. I think it's Colonel King.
Colonel King. Well, I think we are I know we're non-salaried, but I also think that we're a non-profit organization. Maybe we're not supposed to be announcing those kinds of things over the air, but Colonel King.
Instant replay for Jefferson.
Well, this is a 2-point conversion now.
And Kennedy rises to the task.
Pulled down from behind.
Tom O'Brien and number 53,
Jay
Greg Turner on that tackle for Kennedy.
Stop by Tom O'Brien.
With 6 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the third quarter, Jefferson has extended their lead. They now lead the Kennedy Eagles 20-8. And it certainly appeared on that play that they decided they'd rather be up by 14 than by 13 points, and so that's why they pulled Pat Beatty, because he's an automatic conversion, let's face it. But that play was well diagnosed and a fine defensive play, as you said, by
It was Greg Turner and Tom
number
O'Brien
53.
in there.
O'Brien also in on the tackle. You see here some fireworks going off in the distance as Kennedy gets ready to receive this kickoff. Pat Beatty at its own 40. Place is jam-packed tonight, filled on both ends. Low line drive kick, trying to prevent a run back. And getting to the outside and brought down across the 30-yard line.
Beatty's kick return
It's
by
amazing,
Sean
all these people
Weller.
here. I'm seeing people that I haven't seen for almost 2 weeks.
Well, we see number 32 coming off the field, Sean Weller, one of the up men in that that play. Weller is one of the I-backs. He's a junior, 5'11", 164 pounds. And it's very important now that Kennedy gets some type of offensive drive going. The momentum has shifted definitely in Jaguars' favor as you see them dig in, trying to stop this thrust from Kennedy, and right up the gut on the quarterback sneak goes Greg Hoffman.
And making his return to the Kennedy offense, McKay obviously needing more power back there. We've got Mike Oden back in the offensive swing now.
Hoffman.
Interesting.
From what I thought I saw 3 backs there with Porter, Ode, and Biersdorf, but
You're right. Good spotting, Bob Wallen. We do have Mike Oden back there. Who else do we have back there? We still appear to have Cliff Porter.
and Dave Stevens over in his spot, so Steve Biersdorf not in the game. Oden close to a first down.
Straight ahead running, north and south. That's the kind of runner he is. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy by Michael. And
tackle by Eggleston.
Steve Eggleston on the tackle for Jefferson.
Here you see Big Mike Oden, the 215-pounder, go into the middle of that left side rather than that defensive line. Boy, you put a guy Oden's size there, you see the Kennedy bench as they are all standing somewhat nervously, apprehensively on the sideline. They need to put some points on the board.
First down on that play by Oden.
Jefferson, one of the great front-running teams in high school football in the state of Minnesota. They get on top, and it's very, very hard to catch them. One of the signs of a great football team, the killer instinct. Certainly last year demonstrated, Jefferson's team demonstrated that they had that. Inside handoff goes Mike Oden. He picks up maybe a couple yards. He is across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Jaguar secondary now playing no more than about 5 or 6 yards off the line of scrimmage, moving almost 8 men into the defensive front line, and it certainly appears that the Jags are threatening or trying to force Kennedy into a passing situation. It is now 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Now they've dropped back, and here comes Stevens. Stevens on the reverse. Stevens putting his head down and has got a first down inside Jaguar territory at about the 47, well, almost to the 45-yard line. Dave Stevens.
Dave Stevens to the 45-yard line. That's a Kennedy first down.
First down on the play. Schletty now in there at one of the defensive backs along with Parkinson. Jeff Munson also in there. Hoffman again on the keep.
Hoffman getting about 8 yards in that play.
I tell you, I like Hoffman.
Kennedy's been having pretty good success with that quarterback keep there.
Hoffman is big. They list him at 6'5", 190 pounds.
2nd and 3 from the 37-yard line.
He's got the size, and he appears to be have good agility for a man that size. 2nd down, about 3 yards to go. This is Biersdorf, cuts inside, runs over one blocker and carries it down inside the 40-yard line. He's down close to the 30-yard line, and another Jefferson, or rather another Kennedy first down.
Oden now taking a breather right now, just going over towards the water. So yeah, Biersdorf back in the ball game. Talking about Hoffman now. Hoffman, a fine all-around athlete.
First down, I formation, Porter and Biersdorf behind the quarterback Hoffman. And there goes Cliff Porter. Porter the first man up. Fullback, short man in the I formation. He picks up about 7 yards down to about the 25-yard line. So Kennedy is now putting some offense together. And they're doing it on a lot of bread and butter plays, but they also threw in a little twist just moments ago with that reverse pitch out to Dave Stevens. Boy, they'd like to get Stevens open in the secondary. He can fly. 2nd down, 6 yards to go.
There goes Beersdorf.
Beersdorf finally brought down out of bounds.
Another
John
first down.
Parkinson the tackle, but not after Beersdorf has got a good gain and a first down.
Kennedy's running attack gaining a lot of real estate so far in this drive. All they've used is just your basic running plays, either left, right, center. And they're gaining good yardage, 7, 8 yards a try.
Official timeout.
Well, we look at the top 20 coming into tonight's action. Coon Rapids and Jefferson continue to be the number 1 and number 2 teams. Apple Valley moved up into number 3, and boy, have they really possess an offense at Apple Valley. Hutchinson, number 4, St. Thomas Academy, White Bear Lake, number 5, Wayzata, Anoka, Hill Murray, Columbia Heights fill out the top 10, but right now Jefferson's going to have to stop. Very charged up Kennedy team. This is Hoffman on the option. He pulls it down and it's down to the 2-yard line.
And yet another first down. Like we were pointing out earlier, Kennedy is having quite the success with that quarterback keep.
That's a Kennedy first down.
First and goal now for Kennedy at the Jefferson 3-yard line.
Hoffman cut back against the pursuit of the Jefferson defensive line. And the big guy takes it down to the 3-yard line where it's first and goal. And let's see where they're going to spot that one. It was Hoffman on the sneak. And the interior of that Jaguar goal line defense.
Second and goal.
Led by Dana Victorson. Todd Bingers also in on the tackle. Second down, they've got about 1 foot to go for a touchdown. A touchdown here. And a conversion would bring them in within 1 touchdown. There's Hoffman, he's in.
Well, that drive pretty much well engineered by Hoffman all the way almost.
Ball carried by Greg Hoffman. That's a Kennedy touchdown.
Hoffman gets the 1-yard touchdown at, or is this a flag on the play?
Well, we do have a flag on the play, but Hoffman's coming out, and we see Beersdorf signaling that it's going to be against Jefferson. So on comes the conversion team. The score is now
Team foul, blue, did not set for the 1 second count, illegal procedure. Whole team.
Well, now wait a minute. We have a procedure call against Kennedy.
Second.
I thought for sure it looked like it was going to be a call against Jefferson, but no, it's a procedure call against Kennedy. It's second down at the 5-yard line. And stacked up at about the 5-yard line appeared to be Beersdorf. And what a costly penalty that could be. That illegal procedure call and penalties now are really starting to hamper Kennedy, both offensively and defensively. And Mike McKay can only shake his head as I watch him on the sidelines. He has to be doing a burn inside on that one. We now have third down and 5 at the 5-yard line. No first downs, they must get the 6. Hoffman needs the pass, is in and out of the hands. It might have been deflected.
Jeff Olson had a chance for a touchdown pass.
It might have been deflected by Sean Day.
The fourth and goal from
It's
the
hard to
5-yard
tell
line.
from here. Now that would have been a touchdown.
Kennedy.
Got a timeout called by Kennedy with 45 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Kennedy almost getting a touchdown run by Greg Hoffman, but that was called back on a motion play. Hoffman, he could have been a real good running back, but it'd be kind of a waste of talent actually to have someone with an arm like him just playing one exclusive running back position.
Players are not the only ones concerned for Kennedy. And Olson was open. There was no question about it. Jeff Olson was behind Sean Day, but Sean Day is 6'6", and he stretched that frame out there and looked like he might have gotten a hand on the ball, and that's tough to do. If that ball is deflected and try to make the grab, it throws your timing off, and that can be a very difficult catch. Had he made the catch, it would have been 6 points. But instead, it's 4th down for Kennedy. 4th down at the Jag 5-yard line. The Eagles come out in the I formation. Porter and Beersdorf in the set behind the quarterback. Greg Hoffman steps back over the middle. Pass is intercepted. Intercepted. Let's see where they place it. The pass was again intended for
Hoffman's pass is intercepted.
Looked like Olson. We'll have to check that.
For a touchback. Jefferson will take
But
over.
Sleddy,
1st and 10 on
Scott
the 20-yard
Sleddy made
line.
the interception right at the goal line, and they're going to bring it out to the 20-yard line, so that kills the drive of the Kennedy Eagles. And that one really hurts. That one really hurts. It's going to be a tough one now to just come back mentally from taking it that far down into Jag territory and come up empty-handed. 41 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Jaguars on top 20-8. They have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Chuck Easley, left side. Still on his feet. Easley with the ball. Easley down the sidelines, across midfield, down into Kennedy territory.
Tackle made on that play by Tim Klein. Klein possibly saving a touchdown.
Easley does have
Easley,
some
the ball
acceleration,
carrier,
Bob
tackled by
Wallem. He really
Klein.
turned down the burners, and he blew past the linebackers, got into the secondary quickly. Fine blocking by the left side of the Jaguar offensive line.
1st and 10 from the 50-yard line.
Mike Schmidt, Derek Johnson opening up some holes in that Kennedy defensive alignment. We now see Burns coming over down to the bottom of the screen. In motion is Carnell Hall, right side. Carnell Hall to the 30-yard line.
Dragged down by number 5, Tom O'Brien. Or no, excuse me, that wasn't Tom O'Brien, that was Torrey Reynolds.
Stopped by Torrey Reynolds. Jefferson 1st down from the 34-yard line.
And now the Jaguar offense is starting to dominate. And it's tough. The Kennedy Eagles had their opportunities. The game is not over, by no means. We still have 28 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. 20-8, Jaguars on top, but right now, the Jaguars seem in full control of this football game. Schletty, left side, easily in front, blocking for him.
Well, that play was made by number 6, Tom O'Brien.
Fine play, but not before Scott Schletty picked up about 8 yards. There you see number 39, John Ferendorf. John Ferendorf.
Prasad, would you please meet your father at the front gate? Laurie Prasad, please meet your father at the front gate. This is very important. Laurie Prasad.
And that's the end of the third quarter.
Score Jefferson 20.
As you watch the Jaguars and the Eagles walk down to the north end of this packed house at Bloomington Stadium. Capacity crowd, it looks like, on both ends of the field. The Jaguars tonight, the visiting team, as you see the Jaguar fans across the field and their team in their Columbia blue and silver
Columbia
uniforms.
blue.
I want to remind you that you are listening to the Station of Champions. This is BEC Television. Second down, 5 yards to go. Inside handoff goes Easley, and he's going to be stopped short of a first down at about the 25-yard line.
Carrying to the 25-yard line.
31B-20.
Mike
Paul Moe
Socek
on
in
that,
on the tackle.
not Paul Moe, but Mike Socek in on that tackle.
3rd and 2.
Mike Socek being one of the many co-captains on this Kennedy Eagle football team, one of the defensive stalwarts.
Third down, 2 yards to go for a first down. Carnell Hall in motion. Inside handoff is easily. He's got the first down, and we've got a flag. We've got a flag.
The ball carrier. There's a flag on the play.
Indications seem that it's going to be against Jefferson.
Right in front of.
Talking it over with
field
Suchek
judge
right now.
Kevin Miller threw that flag, and they're going to march it off against the Jaguars. I don't know. He was looking right at Captain Steve, co-captain Steve Eggleston, when he threw that flag.
Number 88, illegal use of hands.
John Burns, illegal use of hands. John Burns, 6'3", 208-pound senior end for Jefferson.
So it is now third down and 18 yards to go for Jefferson. They have the ball with 11 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in this game. They also have the lead 20-8.
This could be
the ball is right at the 38-yard line of Kennedy.
This could be a real break for Kennedy if they stop him right here, so it doesn't hurt so much as to.
Look at the bottom of your screen. They're going into a double knock against Dan Grant, but the pass goes over the middle, and Carnell Hall is wide open. Carnell Hall has got the first down, or very close to it.
Anderson's pass to Carnell Hall. Complete.
Well, Dan Grant drew both Mike Oden, and it appeared like I think it was Ferendorf. As we take a look at this again, there you see two guys running over to cover Dan Grant. That was number 26, Diego Went. And instead, coming back against the grain, soft little pass from Anderson to Carnell Hall, and Hall was wide open. Fine call by the Jaguars. Fourth down and about a yard, though. He was a yard short of the first down. Easily has the first down and then some as he cracks over the right side and is inside the 15-yard line.
Easily carrying to the 15.
Paul Moe on that tackle. Number 36, 6'3", 183-pound junior.
First and 10.
I don't see Coach Dick Bird, the offensive coordinator. Oh, there I see it now. Wondering who was calling the offensive signals over there for the Jaguars, as they call them from the bench.
Little switch there for Jefferson's receivers.
Carnell Hall in motion. This is Carnell Hall right side. Still on his feet down inside the 10-yard line. Goes Carnell Hall. And now Carnell Hall is starting to tack on some of that yardage.
Hall, the ball carrier.
And he's got to be certainly approaching a 100-yard game, probably more. You get a shot there from our end zone camera. As you see this offense, Chuck Easley, number 41. It's a fine picture. Let's see if we stay with this camera shot and you can take a look at what happens. Well, of course, they never listen to me. I'm not a cameraman anyways. Second down. Like Easley, the ball carrier, not much. He's stacked up by the middle of that defensive line.
Ferendorf on that tackle, number 39.
Easley, the ball carrier, 3rd and 4 from the 9.
This is a big one right here. They must hold the Jaguars. Jefferson scores here, and that just about would probably wrap it up, unless for some miracles. But if they can get the ball, if the Eagles can get the ball, we'll have about 8 minutes or so to try and get 2 scores back. That in itself is going to be a big job, but this is the big one right here. 3rd down and 4 over the middle.
Incomplete.
And
good pass coverage on that play by number 30, Tim Klein.
Was incomplete, intended for the tight end Burns. And it looked like from up here that
intended for Burns, incomplete.
Jay Anderson might have had a different route in mind than the one that Burns might have been running on that play. He got it to pass off quickly. Burns did not appear to be ready. We have a timeout for Jefferson. Timeout on the field with the score, Jefferson 20 and Kennedy 8.
This just in, The Oakland A's 3, Kansas City Royals nothing. That helps the Twins out in their pennant race hopes. Hope you out there are watching them, Twins. Surprising a lot of people this year.
Baseball scores. Minnesota Twins 6, Cleveland 0. That is in the 5th inning. There's another
Well, Mike
score.
McKay is down on the field right
Oakland
now, pacing the
3,
sidelines,
Kansas City 0.
trying to determine what defense is going to thwart the Jaguar offense as they are looking at a 4th down. 4th down and 4 yards for the first down, 8 yards for the touchdown. And let's see, I think Pat Beatty is out on the field, and it looks like the Jags will go for the 3 points here. Beatty is going to be certainly within his range, probably spot the ball at about the 15-yard line, making it a 25-yard attempt. Had heard that Beatty had kicked a 60-yarder in practice the other day. That's quite a distance.
Yeah, there is a story behind Pat Beatty, former soccer player for Jefferson, switching sports to football, now doing a fantastic job.
Danny Grant to do the holding for Pat Beatty. The ball is right at the 15-yard line. It will be a 25-yard field goal attempt. The kick is up.
Beatty's kick is
The
no
kick
good.
is no good. The kick is wide. It had more than enough distance, but the kick is wide, and so Kennedy will take over.
Kennedy will take over 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line.
They will move the ball now back out to the 20-yard line,
Did you announce this game will be on cable tomorrow?
and that's where
All right.
Cable channel.
the Eagles will put the ball in play. 1st down and 10. They have 8 minutes and 21 seconds to make up the difference. The difference is 12 points. They trail 20-8. Watch for Hoffman to go to the air.
Okay. Whatever.
Thank you.
Not this time, though, following his blockers. Dave Stevens, fine blocking. And Stevens looks like he's got the 1st down across the 30-yard line, and
Stevens, the ball
wisely
carrier, tackled
moves
by
out of
Dan.
bounds.
Tackle on that play made by number
Kennedy, 1st down.
number 80, Sean Day, 6'6", 225-pound senior.
Day all over that field from his linebacker position. No major changes defensively. One of the big changes now, however, is that we do have Scott Schletty going both ways. Now playing the left corner, he has replaced Tim Langen, and there's a big rush. Hoffman runs into a stone wall.
In on that play, I saw was number
Whoa!
54, Jeff Batta, and
It looked like
there's another player in there also.
Eggleston was one of the
tackle.
players in there on the tackle.
Loss of 5 yards.
Trying to see
2nd
who
and
that
15.
other one was. Jeff
Gonna be
Batta?
25.
Jeff Batta in there on that tackle.
Both
Hoffman
him
hit and hit
Eggleston
hard.
were in there. That brings up a 2nd down and 15 yards to go. Inside handoff goes Beersdorf, and he's got maybe 3 short of the original line of scrimmage. Brings up an obvious passing
Beersdorf
down.
carrying.
3rd down
Getchman making the stop.
and about 11 yards to go.
From the 29.
I got a great play for you here, Bob Wallen.
You do, huh? All right, hit me with it.
The screen. Screen to Stevens.
Screen to Stevens.
Screen to Stevens.
I call a
They're coming
sideline
hard.
pass
Let's
to
see,
Graham.
I think they're going to throw a blitz in here. No blitz. Passes complete. Yes.
No.
Fine catch.
Did I say a sideline
Ball
pass to
trimmed right
Graham?
in front of us, right down at the sidelines. And let's see if he got far enough for a 1st down.
Paul Grimm.
Grim is just
39-yard
short of a
line.
1st down. That's going to bring up a 4th down. 4th down and 1 yard to go.
And for Kennedy, we got Dan Dwyer coming back into the game. I would guess that Bob Caola would come out. Caola and Dwyer often switch places during the game. Both same position on a right tackle position.
High formation, there goes Hoffman, a quarterback sneak, 1st down.
Hoffman is the ball carrier.
Eagles got 7
Kennedy,
minutes
1st down.
playing catch up to go, and they're almost at midfield.
First down and 10. That clock continues to move, and then right now there's 6:43 left to go in the football game. And that's becoming as much an enemy of the Kennedy Eagles right now as that Jaguar defense. They need to put some points on the board. They're trailing 20-8. They need 2 touchdowns. They've got to score and score quickly. Wide to the left goes Torrey Reynolds, and he jumped off sides, and they're going to move it back 5 yards. It will be first down and 15 yards to go. Olson is the tight end. Torrey Reynolds in there at the other receiver. Now comes Grimm. Grimm coming in replacing Reynolds, trying to get the right combination. Dave Stevens, we see number 6.
Number 5 in the blue.
Also moving into the
Dead
game
ball
now,
foul.
bringing into play from the tackle position. Dan Dwyer, 5'11", 176-pound senior. Time is back in. First down and 15. The ball is at Kennedy's own 39-yard line. Hoffman back. Pass is complete. Pass complete to Jeff Olson. He's got a first down, and he's inside Jefferson territory.
Hoffman's pass to Jeff Olson complete. Tackle by Day.
Sean Day again on that tackle for Jefferson.
But that's a first down. Riding the arm of Greg Hoffman, Kennedy has mounted a drive late in this football game. 6:07 left to go, and they trail. This is Hoffman again. He's going deep. The pass is overthrown, intended for Olson. But back covering on the play was the
Jeff Olson, incomplete.
defensive back, John Parkinson, and he had that play well covered.
6
Second
minutes
down now.
left. Second and 15.
Kennedy bench concerned, trying to get their team moving, trying to get
Second and
get
10.
those Eagles into the end zone quickly as Hoffman back. Here comes the blitz. Plenty of time though. Pass is
Incomplete.
short. It was slightly underthrown, intended for Dave Stevens.
Pass intended for Stevens.
But in the midst of that
incomplete.
blitz, the
Third and
Kennedy
10.
offensive line did the job, and Hoffman had plenty of time, but defensively they smelled that one out from the Jaguar perspective, and it's going to bring up a third down and about 15 yards to go. No, third down and about 10 yards to go. I stand corrected. Ball is at the Jefferson 44-yard line. Down to the bottom of the screen comes Paul Grimm. Wishbone formation almost. This is Hoffman. Hoffman on the pitch. Back to Dave Stevens. He cuts inside. Spins away. Still on his feet. First down.
Dave Stevens created that play with that little turn right up at the
Stevens, the ball carrier.
Well, midfield,
Kennedy's
just-
first down.
just turned right around 100 or 360-degree turn or whatever you call those, and just ran upfield, got 11 yards, gained a first down, and plus one more.
5:45 left to go in the football game. Jefferson on top 20-8, and right now they're trying to fend off a drive from the Kennedy Eagles. The Eagles with a first down at the Jag 32-yard line. Hoffman going deep for Grimm. The pass is knocked down. Fine defensive play by Scott Schletty. Good defensive play by Schletty. He had both hands on the ball, knocked it away. And that's going to bring up a second down. That was the same type of play that they ran for the touchdown. The out and down, or down and up, depending upon where you're coming from, and that pass was incomplete, again intended for Paul Grimm. Grimm's going one-on-one against Schletty in that defensive backfield. Reverse, double reverse. This time, oh, and Stevens just lost his footing. As
Dave Stevens.
Stevens has to be talking to himself right now.
feet just weren't quite fast enough to keep up with his body on that one, because he saw himself going for extra yardage. He did manage to stumble forward for a gain of 7. It's going to be third down and 3 yards to go.
Good
The
play by
ball is on the
Stevens there.
25-yard line of Jefferson.
Nice run.
Yeah, they keep making those chalk stripes higher and higher every year.
Yeah.
Oh, penalty, and that's going to cost 5 yards against
Little movement over on the
Kennedy,
left side,
and some
Eric
movement,
Christensen.
as we saw Left side, Christensen. Looks like he moved a little bit, tried to anticipate the count.
Dead ball foul, number 77 procedure.
So the procedure call moves it back to the 30-yard line. Instead of 3rd down and 3, it's going to be 3rd down and 8 yards to go, as you see from our end zone camera. Jeff Munson, safety for Jefferson as he looks over center field. This is Olson. Rather Hoffman to Stevens, and he bounces off a tackle by Parkinson. Finally knocked out of bounds by John Burns. And that's not going to be too much of a gain. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 5 yards to go.
Hoffman really got laid into back there, but number 70, Dana Victorson, the nose tackle for Jefferson. Lucky thing that Hoffman got that pass off.
There it is. Boom. Ooh, that hurts.
4th and 7 from the 28-yard line.
4th down, 7 yards to go. Big play, you bet. Option play. Pitch back to Stevens. He's got one man to beat, but that man makes the tackle.
Number 29, Greg
That
Wallace.
was a big defensive play, and the Jaguars take over. And that could just about do it for this football game. 4 minutes, 29 seconds left to go. The Jaguars shut Kennedy down, and they've got a 12-point lead.
Stopped by Wallace. Jefferson will take over from the 28-yard line, 1st and 10.
The Jags now will keep the ball on the ground and try and keep that clock running. A very dejected and subdued Kennedy group, Kennedy fans in front of us. Clock counting down. We now have less than 4 minutes left to go in this football game. Well, let's not count Kennedy out. They never quit. Mike McKay's football teams never quit, but they've got a big challenge if they're going to get back in this football game. They need to force a turnover right here. They need to be going for the football. They need to get in there quick. Jefferson, Jay Anderson letting plenty of the clock run down. An experienced quarterback like Jay Anderson knows how to milk that clock. Carnell Hall, right side. Carnell Hall, they keep him in bounds. He picks up about 4 yards. It will be 3rd down.
Hall, the ball carrier.
This is a tough game for Kennedy.
Timeout.
They've had their opportunities tonight. They've demonstrated that they can play with Jefferson. They've demonstrated that they can move the football. They had a lead 8-7 at halftime. And penalties cost them dearly, both offensively and defensively, especially a procedure call when Hoffman went in for the score, Bob Wallum in the 3rd quarter, and it was nullified by a procedure call, and they failed to convert a 4th down attempt. And Jefferson took over, drove it back down the length of the field. So it's been a tough one for Coach Mike McKay. But give Jefferson credit. They have earned their number 2 ranking in the state of Minnesota. As we see Carnell Hall dragged down from behind. Fine defensive play on that one. Looked like it was Eric Christensen on the play. It was Eric Christensen going both ways. And the Eagles will have 2 minutes left to go. They'll get the ball back with about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It is 4th and 6. They shift into punt formation. Dan Grant standing back on about his own 18-yard line. Stevens back there. Grant the kick. High, towering spiral, sending Stevens all the way back to his 26-yard line. Great punt by Dan Grant. Well, that ball traveled in the air 30, 50, about 57 yards in the air.
From the 27-yard line.
And that's where the Eagles will take over with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the football game. Be with us again next week here from Bloomington Stadium as we have a big one. We'll see one of the top defensive teams in the Lake Conference, Richfield, going against the top offensive team, Jefferson. And that should be another tough game for the Jaguars.
Well, Richfield's statistics, they've only given up, what is it? 5 yards passing all year, and they've got to go up against Jay Anderson. That'll be an interesting situation there.
2nd and 4 from the 33.
That 5 yards is after, I think, about the first 2 games of the season. But they are very, very stingy, as Bob Wallum said, defensively, and will certainly issue a challenge for the offensive strategies of the Jaguars. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Hoffman's going to have to put it up every time now. Drops back, passes over the middle, and passes. Goes right into the hands of John Parkinson. He's got a convoy down the sidelines. Touchdown, Jaguars!
Parkinson, interception, run back for a touchdown.
John Parkinson heads up defensive football, and he took it the distance. There you see him, number 8 in the top of your screen. What a happy football player he is. He just iced it. There's the pass. It looked like it was thrown behind the intended receiver. It was either Grimm or Olsen. And there Parkinson turns on the speed, outruns the defenders, and Pat Beatty is on to attempt the extra point. He's been perfect tonight on all his conversions. Grant again the hold. Kick is up. The kick is good.
Beatty's kick is good.
And with 1:48 left on the clock and left in this football game, Jaguars own the game right now. It's 27-8.
Score Jefferson 27, Kennedy 8.
Fine defensive play again by John Parkinson. We mentioned that. And unfortunately, this score does not really reflect the closeness of these two football teams as this game was played tonight, certainly in the first half.
Well, Coach McKay was talking about last week's game against Burnsville, the missed opportunities. Tonight they've had their opportunities. The pass to Olsen in the end zone, which could have been deflected. That could have been a touchdown. The touchdown by Hoffman in the 3rd quarter, which was called back on a penalty. So they've definitely had their chances.
Well, you know, you play for 48 minutes of football. And they say you can go back to basically 5 or 6 plays that make the difference in a football game. And I think if you look at it from Kennedy's side over the last 2 games, it's been mistakes. Drop passes. Untimely penalties. Well, Pat Beatty put that one in orbit, and it's going to go out to the 20-yard line. Stevens couldn't handle it. It came down inside the goal line, down to about the 2. Beatty kicking with a very healthy, wind is gusting now up to about 20 miles, 25 miles an hour. And so nothing's left now but to run down the clock. Minute and 48 seconds left to go. I'm sure that Kennedy is not going to just let that clock run out.
Spectators on both sides.
And this is Bloomington Educational Cable, channel 17D.
The north and south end, both on the Jefferson and on the Kennedy side. Exit will be open on the north and south end.
And we've got some new personnel now in the backfield. We'll have some spot for you on him. We see number 44 with the ball. That was Jim Schmidt. The new quarterback is Kevin Sundem.
Jim Schmidt.
And we've got a host of new players in there, and we'll try and pick them up for you as best we can.
Tackled by Keller. Victorson making the tackle.
33 seconds left to go in this football game. The Jaguars, protecting their number 2 ranking in the state, have done nothing to tarnish that rating. We watch Sundem back. He's got plenty of time, but now the rush is on, and down he goes. Sundem in the hands of big number 74 for the Jaguars.
Eric Napola, 6'4", 235-pound tackle.
Junior?
Yeah.
Check. And that's the football game, everyone. It's all over. It's all over as you see a dejected Kennedy Eagle football team going over to congratulate the victors. The Jefferson Jaguars have done it again. They have beaten Kennedy here at Bloomington Stadium. Final score from Bloomington Stadium, 27-8. The Jaguars just took control offensively in that second half, and that was really the difference in the football game. Kennedy went in at 8-7. Jaguars came back, responded like a top-ranked football team should, and just poured it on. Took advantage of some mistakes from Kennedy, and there you see the results. A very happy Jaguar fan, team very dejected. And there's Mike Oden, number 22. He played a great football game going both ways. Just too bad for the Kennedy Eagles and Coach Mike McKay, who fought hard but came up on the short end of this football game. We'll hope to have some statistics for you perhaps on this football game, and we're going to try and see if Bob Wallum can't get a hold of some for you and try and just give you some of the more important ones. And the most important one is on the scoreboard right now, and that's the final score, 20-8 Jefferson. Jaguars are now 4-0. The Kennedy Eagles are now 1-3. And from here for Jefferson, they go to play Richfield next week. Richfield is one of the tough defensive teams in the Light Conference South. And such is the schedule as we look at the Jaguars. I do not have the schedule in front of me as far as Kennedy is concerned, but we'll try and identify that because I'm sure that Mike McKay is going to get his club to regroup and come out pounding away next week.
If you get some yardage there for those big guys.
Bob is trying to add up some score, add up some statistics right here. We can give you the scoring summary as it occurred in this football game. And that first half was truly a great half of football as Jefferson came out with 34 seconds left to rather 34 seconds, if this is correct, into the first quarter. Grant scoring, 34 seconds into the second quarter. It was a scoreless first period, 34 seconds gone in the second quarter. We'll get this straight for you. Dan Grant, a 3-yard pass from Jay Anderson, and that winning combination, followed by a Patrick Beatty conversion, made it Jefferson 7-0. Then at 11:49 of the second period, with a big play, Paul Grimm on the receiving end of a Greg Hoffman pass. The pass was good for 49 yards. Great catch by Grimm. Sundem made the 2-point conversion, and that's the 8-7 margin that the Jags, that Kennedy took into the locker room at halftime. But after that, it was all Jefferson in the third quarter. Easily at 1:50 of the third quarter, with a 1-yard touchdown run, Patrick Beatty, the kick, 14-8 Jefferson. Easily again, 4 minutes later on a 4-yard run. The 2-point conversion failed, but the Jaguars had a 20-8 lead. And then if you were still tuned in with us here in the fourth quarter at the 10-minute mark, as Kennedy had to try and put some points on the board quickly, a Greg Hoffman pass was picked off by John Parkinson. Parkinson went the distance, 31 yards with the interception for the touchdown. Patrick Beatty again made the conversion, and that was the final score, 27-8. So, Bob, do we have some quick statistics you can give us?
Oh, we sure do, Tom. Well, for total yardage, we have Jefferson ending up with 277. And for Kennedy, a good sign, 415 total yards. So Kennedy obviously had more yards to work
Is that right? Are those figures right? 415 to 270 yards, 30 yards?
Well, they're about as correct as I can possibly get.
Go ahead, get some more. I gotta believe you on that.
Let's see. Carnell Hall getting a lot of yardage back. We're not sure about the final statistics on there, but Carnell Hall broke loose for 30-yard run, 22-yard run. 17. I bet Carnell probably
Well,
ended up.
Carnell had approximately 80 yards. He came very close to that 100-yard mark tonight. But again, the story in the second half was the Jaguar offense and taking advantage of some opportunities to do that. So from Bloomington Stadium, we're going to sign off tonight. Hope you join us again next week. Get out here, watch the football game from Bloomington Stadium as Jaguars put their undefeated record on the line against a very tough Richfield game. And this has been Tom Benneman and Bob Waller with the pleasure of bringing you this football game. The final again from Bloomington Stadium, the undefeated and second-ranked Jefferson Jaguars defeating a very inspired Kennedy Eagle football team 27-8. Good night, everyone.